There is a very instructive saying that goes something like this, that do not count your chicks before they hatch. There is also another saying that goes something like this, that a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. In the podcast, we've been discussing the aspect of what we do with our lives between the time that we were born and the time that we expire from this world. That if we wanted a quality life, it's going to be dependent upon several things. There are many external things, and there are also internal things. And at the end of the day, at the crux of the matter is that we are the ones who are supposed to be in control of what happens. And over the past several podcast episodes, we've seen that life happens in the now. It happens today. And it's very easy for you to ignore today because you're looking for something spectacular to happen at an opportune time in the future. And today I want us to continue deriving that and seeing how we can have a quality life by looking at today. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
It is possible to live a life where you are anticipating for something to happen at an opportune time, like from the saying that a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. It's possible for you to be looking at the two birds in the bush and ignoring the bird in the hand. And I know at some point in time I say that, okay, what if the bird in the hand is broken legged, has a broken wing, or it's sickly and so on. But the point is simple, that it is possible for you to overlook what you do have going on for you right now. Let me tell you this, the secret of life is not somewhere out there in the future. The secret to life is not with somebody else out there. The secret to life is not tomorrow. The secret to your life is not in in the year 2030, magical year. The secret to life is not when you're 40, or when you hit 35, or when you hit 30, or when you hit 25. The secret to your life, my friend, is today. That is the secret. Today matters. That's what we've been discussing, and it's possible for you to say that I am waiting for the opportune time to come for me to have the breakthrough that I've always been looking at. And you'll be wrong. The point is simple. The most crucial thing in life is preparedness. What we need to do is to understand that there is a gap between the opportune time coming and us aligning ourselves to the opportune time. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. As much as there is an opportune time to do something strategic, it does not mean that we can have a blank relationship, a blank calendar. There is nothing going on until the right timing comes, and that's when we rise up, we're alive and so on. We will be late. We will be passed by times. We will be passed by seasons. What if a farmer waits for a harvest and does not plant? What if a farmer waits for the rains to come and does not prepare the ground, does not prepare the seeds? The opportune time will come. It always does come. But it is for those who are prepared for it, for those who are doing something. And by the way, the most insidious thing, I don't know how to use the word insidious, but let me just use it. The most insidious thing about preparedness is this, that at times it feels like it's mundane, it is arduous, it is I mean, there's nothing that is, no promise with it, no potential with it. You feel nothing about it, no good feel factor about it. And that's why it's easy for you to not want to prepare, but want to have the coinciding of the most perfect harmony for you to do things. You will never be ready. You will never be perfect. There will never be the perfect time to do your book. There will never be the perfect time to do your podcast. There will never be the perfect time for you to do that project. There will never be the perfect time for you to draw a line in the sand and say, I am going to have a blast in this marriage, come rain or shine. I am going to make it work. There will never be an opportune time. There will never be a perfect time. The opportune time is predicated, or it's brought about by the things that you do before that moment comes. It's built up. The opportune time for man to stand on the face of the earth was after the sun had been created, the animals had been created, the expanse had been made. That was the opportune time. But you don't put man on the face of the earth and there are no rivers, there are no plants, there is no sun, and you're expecting the man to work there. I know I'm winging this, but you get my point. What I'm saying in short is that the mundane things, the today that you're living in today, the day that God has given you today, it is the most blessed of days, the most biggest gift that God has ever given you, because it is in today that you can repent and change your life and turn your life around. It is in today that you can make a decision to have a better marriage. It is in today that you can make a decision to become a better parent. It is in today that you can make a decision to say that I was hurt, but I'm going to live my life. I'm going to move my head up. Nothing has been removed from my life anymore. I mean, I'm not any less of a human being, and I'm going to have a whole life. It is in today that you can make such kind of decisions and you turn your life around. Not tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow you have no clue what's going to happen. It is in today that things are going to happen. As much as there's an opportune time to do something strategic, it doesn't mean that we have, to do nothing until that opportune time comes. There is an interval. There is a time between now and the opportune time, and that time we call it life. They say don't count your chicks before they hatch, don't they? My point is simple. The most crucial thing in life is preparedness. There comes the word. Preparedness. How prepared are you? Do you know you can write a book today? And by the way, I've seen this I've heard this about very many authors. You can write a book today and nobody takes a note about it. Nobody, no one. Like I think this book called The Road Less Traveled by Scott M. Peck, I think, if I get my facts correct. Written very many years ago. I never really made whatever. But then there was an opportune time for that book to come to the consciousness of the whole humanity. All the continents came to the consciousness of that book. But what if Scott M. Peck waited for that moment to come and then he writes the book? Too late. So preparedness is the key, and preparedness happens in today. You are preparing for something, either consciously or unconsciously. You are getting ready for something. There's another movie, I think the movie is called The Shawshank Redemption. This movie is starring a big name in the name of Morgan Freeman. I think the movie was shot long time ago and it just went below the radar. And then later on, after a few decades, I think maybe a few years, it just came to the fore. Blasted and came to the consciousness of the people. What you do today, you have no clue how you're preparing yourself for the opportune time to happen, for things to align themselves. See, things are waiting for you to be in motion, for them to be in motion also, and set themselves up for your own good. The most crucial thing in life is preparedness. And let me tell you something that is mind-boggling. And for me to do that, I have to go full spiritual and scriptural once again. Those of you who do not cherish spirituality, everything is spiritual, by the way. That's why you guys keep talking about chemistry between so and so. That chemistry you normally talk about is basically spiritual. But I digress. It is your chance to maybe pause here and skip and so on. But let me say this. Scriptures tell us in the book of 2 Chronicles chapter 16 verse 9 says that for the eyes of the Lord they run to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself strong on behalf of them whose heart is perfect towards him. As in, the God of the universe is scanning people's hearts and people's lives for a particular profile. He's looking for a particular profile. Imagine with me for a minute God googling the whole earth to find somebody, listen, whose heart is steadfast or perfect towards him. Before you can go in full super spiritual mode, let me explain my understanding. God is looking for people whose hearts are steadfast, whose hearts are perfect, whose hearts are pure towards him. What do you think these kinds of people are doing? Just for a minute, what do you think these guys are doing? They are in church every single day worshiping God? Do you think that's what they're doing? Are they those who are waiting for an opportune time? These guys that God is looking for, are they those ones who are seated back waiting for an opportune time? Are they those who are engaged in anticipating for something? Or are they those who are actually in actual sense of preparing themselves for something? Whom do you think, if you're God, whom do you think you'll pick? You will pick for the guy who is preparing himself for something. They are not just anticipating, they're not just waiting, they are preparing. There is a heaven and earth difference between those three things. Anticipation is totally different from waiting, it's totally different from preparing. Waiting is not necessarily preparing. You can be waiting, doing absolutely nothing. The key word here is preparation. So, before the opportunity comes, to anyone, anywhere, in any sphere of life, in any pursuit, before the opportunity comes, you need to be the one who is preparing yourself for it. In all due honesty, you cannot help someone who has not shown any form of interest, any form of commitment, no matter how entitled they are for what they are waiting for. Especially those ones who are thinking that they're entitled. Entitlement doesn't qualify you for anything. Let me tell you this, child of the living God, especially those ones who normally quote scriptures left, right, and center. You are so entitled and you say, God is the one who gives me power to acquire wealth. Let me tell you this, if you don't prepare for it, kiss that wealth goodbye. That entitlement gives you absolutely nothing. It is the preparedness, the things that you do today that matters, that will contribute to God aligning things for you and giving you the power. And God giving you the power is basically creating the opportune time for harmonious harvest for you. See, I have said all there is to say about that, and I want to build on it again tomorrow. Preparedness is the key. It might be mundane today, you might not feel anything. You're trying to crack your head to write and nothing comes out, but tomorrow you keep doing and you keep doing and you keep preparing yourself. Do you know how they form these hits, by the way? Do you know how these hits, musical hits, are formed and blockbusters are formed? They don't sit down and analyze. Some of them are just coming on the spur of the moment. That's how my wife came to record a very powerful song, on the spur of the moment. She didn't say that today I'm going to write a hit. It came on the spur of the moment. That's the benefit of preparation. It gives you the opportune time. Until tomorrow, bye-bye. A special shout out to my mentor Jeffrey Howard of Visionary Business University, found at mastermindmentor.com, who has graciously provided me with the soundtrack and the introductory track to this podcast. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.